Hey guys, H-Drive here with another deck profile. This time is with Tamagoro with Uchu Hajimari. This is a hand-hate control deck with a demon recurve theme. So we'll start with Tamagoro. When she enters the field, your opponent discards one and you draw one. And then it's once per game action. If you eat all the cards underneath your Elrics. If you have five or more, you draw one, and then if you have 7 or more, your opponent discards one as well. It's a really good control finisher. You play by the model of 10,000 paper cuts every time. So it's a very slow deck, and it's a really good finisher to try to build up. You just have to get used to that kind of style if you're not used to it, and then it's very strong in very particular matchups. So next we have Bangs. We play Crescendo from the trial deck in our charges 2, because the big thing about control is you don't gain that much enter. So any form of enter charge that's really good is what you will play. Not as a main 4 of, but guaranteed at least 1 of for sure. And then we play Da Capo. The strongest shield effect I personally like is the next time you will take damage, you reduce it to 0, you take no damage. You can add an additional layer with the green and a colorless. I believe they should make 2 different stacks, but I am not a professional. If there are any professionals in the game, comment down below. Let me know if I am right or wrong. But 2 instances are really good, and I always play like that. Next is Novus. You play Mutes and Scratches. Mute is really good because it has an attack phase timing. You discard a 1 and a colorless to make a opponent's Signy cannot attack you. And then Slash is on enter banish a Signy to the trash instead of your gauge, so you gauge hate. As well as you pay a white to look at the top 5 to add any Signy from among those. So that's all that is for Novus. It's a very strong defensive package, and we'll see from there. Next is your pieces. So you have Hajimari Destruction and Code LO. Destruction is really strong because it makes you draw cards or discard cards equal to your opponent's level. So your opponent's level 2, you can do both or 2 option or times 2. And then you can also do that for your size 3 as well. You can choose one option multiple times, you can spread out. It's really flexible when you play this piece. As well as Code LO. LO says if you have 0 life cloth, you add 1 to your life cloth. I personally like this a little bit more because it gives you that early beats you can try to chase back up, and then if you do refresh and trash a cloth, you kind of sculpt your deck enough, your trash enough, so you can guarantee at least 1 good defensive trigger if you ever do it. So I play those 2. Next is to the main deck. Once again, I said there's a demon package, and here's our first of demons. Fenrir is a demon, so you can't search this. Add this to your hand with a certain key piece of the card. On enter, you freeze 2 Signys, and then at the beginning of the combat step, your opponent discards 1. So I always like to have at least 1, and then you'll always get another one with another certain card. It's really good as the hand hate. And then if you have the proper setup with it, you can rip pretty much your entire opponent's hand on the grade 3 ride when you do. It's very strong. It's also a really strong tempo card. Next we have 2 Black Saddle, Aquatic Beast. This says enter charge 1, enter on the board. It's really good because you kind of need as much enter as you can. I don't play 4 of it because too many grade 3s clog up your deck. And then I always want to probably see this in your gauge more often, or you see that. So it's really good gauge pieces if you ever need it. And it is always there. Next is 2 Captain Hooks. This is also a demon, so it's searchable. Can't be destroyed by card effects if you have 20 or more cards in your drop zone. And then if this does die during the attack phase, you can shuffle up 5, so you don't die by deck out with this. Primarily, I played this for its trigger ability. Down target Signy your opponent controls, and then you draw a card. It's really good as a early trigger if you do it. and then as well as a search target if he ever needs more search targets. Because we're playing the Demon package, I am playing 2 Mirages. It's really good because it is a unit with Rise. So basically you place this on top of a unit for its Rise condition, and it counts as that one unit. Its Rise condition is very generic. It's just placed on top of a Signy. So you can place this on any of your dudes. And then on enter you pay a colorless and you give an opponent's Signy -8. It also has a trigger ability of adding a Signy to your board or from your hand from your trash, so it's really flexible as a trigger as well. Do keep a note that if it does end up in your enter, you can only pay with this as your generic cost because you don't have anything else that costs black. So if you are to play with Mirages and you have this with your scratches or with your Novus, be very wary about that as well. So be very careful with it. I only played the 2 because it's always searchable, and then it's always a nice 13k shield body on the board. So it's very hard for your opponent to kind of get rid of it. And I play 4 white-blue vanillas. You kind of need this color combination because most of your pieces in the mid game to late game are white and blue. So this is pretty strong as it is. And then we play 3 Azure Evils. They are searchable with the main Demon Searcher. It also freezes a dude and you mill 2, which is a slight bonus. But it's always searching for demons, and this is a good valid target to search for your demons. Next we play 2 Sen no Haiku. Sen no Haiku is just a 10k vanilla, but it does have a trigger ability of Enter Charge 3. That is really strong for this deck because you kind of need Gauge. Or you need Enter. You need a lot of Enter for this deck because you're rarely attacking things, you're rarely going for that. And if your tongue hits you very aggressively and you have one of these, it gives you a full stack to play around with. I play 2, some people play 1, but 2 I prefer just because I want to hit that at least consistently enough if I do. Next are Servant Pounds. They're good. They protect your Elrigs from Elrigs. They give you different color of Enter. You can guard with it. Add Signies from your trash. Always play 4. It's like, sometimes if you get different names, play 8. Or play 5. But be reasonable. Be model. Play 4. I always like these ones. Next are 4 Water Buffalo. Water Buffalo is very good. I play 8 vanillas in this deck, just because you're a very slow deck and you really need the color fixing. You're not really big on green, but this is probably one of your biggest green sources that you play. You are primarily blue with splash of the other colors, and this one is probably one of the bigger color staples. You are that as well. Next is the main star, Andra's Blessed Evil. She is on enter. You discard a card in your hand. You look at the top 5, add a demon Signy from them, then you put the rest in any order. And also has a trigger ability. Target Signy on your board gains cannot attack, and then you draw 1. It's a really good defensive option. It's also really good as well because it lets you hit your Fenrirs. It lets you hit your Rise demons. Hits like any of your grade 2 or higher demon pieces, which are really good right now in this control variant. And then she can also grab herself, so you can always do it for her, and then you can always go down the chain. This will also, if you do refresh, sculpt your drop zone with as much trigger cards as you can if you're thinking very big brain. But sometimes you kind of just want to filter for some pieces, and if you do deck out, you always have a thing for that, and that's why I also played the Life Cloth Refreshing Life Cloth Refreshing piece. So this is probably my favorite card in the deck. Next you play 3 Brenda Hills. It kind of is just there because it's just there. It's very cute if you freeze things and you need them to discard. I don't know what I would play if I were to play something else. Maybe the draw discard one if I do want to play that. It's very nice with freeze targets if you want to particularly get rid of a freeze thing. But for now, I am playing with 3 of these. Just because it says discard one on a frozen Signy, and there's a lot of freezing effects. But primarily, I found this a little lackluster and might change it out in the near future. Next are the spells. For random drain. Very powerful. You draw a card and then you discard a card. But if you're in Uchu no Hajimari, you instead draw one and your opponent discards one at random. This is really strong effect during the thing, and it even has a strong trigger effect, which is just a typical down thing, freeze it, and then your opponent discards one. So it's really good as an offensive or defensive card, and I love this card. You always never hate it when you see it in the beginning, and then in the end, it's just a cantrip, and then it's always really good for a single blue. And finally, and not least, we play 2 troubles. It says pay 2, draw 3 cards. It's basically a Graceful Charity. Draw 3 is very strong. And then it also has a target 2 down 2 target opponent Signies. This is a really good defensive trigger. And I personally like, as a 2 of, some people play as a 3 or 4 of. I say that's too much. Just because you're drawing 3 cards fast enough, you will die. You will refresh your deck at least twice, and sometimes you don't want to go through your deck twice. It's also a good thing to throw away with as well. It also refreshes your thing. Because when you ditch with Andromeus, you kind of need drawing cards. So, that is the deck profile for Tamagoro. This is the hand-hate variant with some Demon Engine. So it's very strong with that. Once again, there will not be as many deck profiles just because I do stream on Twitch. Whoops. With HRF0. If you want to check me out, I do stream on that. Mostly non-card game stuff, but if there's... sometimes I will do card games with that. I personally like the hand-hate control deck with Tamagoro, just because it allows you to like be really mean and aggressive with it. And then in certain matchups, just like the aggro matchups and the combo matchups, by hitting your opponent's hand as much things, you don't die to it as fast. So this has been the deck profile with Tamagoro. Thanks for everyone for watching. You all have a good day. Bye-bye!